So I decided to reflect on the second prompt, but I'm just going to alter it in that we were able to see our mentor teacher implement this lesson. So I'm going to reflect on how that went in his classroom and how we decided to change ours a little bit. So in our lesson plan, we're teaching to fourth grade, and the topic or concept is the branches of the U.S. government and the process of a bill becoming a law. Our teaching behavior focus was to promote collaboration and align the task with the learning goal. And the learning objectives were students will be able to identify the three branches of the United States government, correctly describe what each of them do, list the steps of a bill becoming a law, and demonstrate their understanding of that process. So for our actual lesson, our teacher decided to kind of turn his classroom and his partner teacher's classroom and his principal into the three branches of government. So his classroom was the House of Representatives, the other classroom was the Senate, and then the principal was the executive branch. So we would start by just introducing our PowerPoint, which would be focused on like how many branches our government's divided into, going deeper into that, explaining the roles of each branch so that they can understand it when we actually implement the project or lesson. And then we will have this Schoolhouse Rock video, which is of how a bill becomes a law, just to further get them hooked. And then with our Engage, we're just going to begin to tell the students what we're going to be doing, which is going through the process of turning a bill into a law. So first, they'll be in groups of 4, and each group will have to come up with some different topic for a bill that they would want to become a law that's based off of healthy eating habits, exercise levels, and the amounts of sleep that students get. So their goal is to try to get this bill passed through all branches of government and have our principal sign it into a law. So we would have them in groups of 4. They would each make a different bill proposal, and then eventually it would get cut down to just one bill that we are going to propose to the other classroom, our partner classroom, which something that I would alter about this that we saw done in his classroom is maybe try to cut down the amount of groups that we have and maybe just have like 2 bills proposed, because one of the things that he didn't like about his lesson was how long the whole process took. And he said it was supposed to take 4 weeks and it ended up taking like 6 weeks. So just for the sake of time, I would try to limit that in the beginning. And then after we decide on one class topic, and the students have to do research to put into a PowerPoint, and that's kind of like their bill proposal. And then we'll just ask questions on if they have any questions, and then we'll vote and have one to focus on, and then that will go to our partner class and we'll get their bill. And then eventually both classes will have to decide which one bill they want to pass through, which would then go through our teacher or us, and we would decide whether or not to pass it through to the principal as the executive branch. And then once the students were able to get it to the executive branch and the principal signed their bill into a law, then they had to promote their bill or their now law across the school. So they would make posters, hang them around the school about healthy eating or exercise or whichever bill we decided to put through. So I think this is a great lesson, and I think that it went really well in his classroom. Just the one thing I would change is the duration of it, because you don't want it to take up our whole instruction period. And I know he had to kind of change what he was planning on teaching because of the time it took. But overall, I think that this is definitely a lesson that I could see myself implementing. And I think giving the students the real life experience of actually going through the process really will cement the process into their brains and maybe even help them to be influenced to be a part of our society in ways like voting and different things like that.